I'm Bree, and in my AP US History class, we're reading the book The American Pageant. Right now we're on Chapter 28, and it's about progressivism and the Republican Roosevelt, and it spans from about 1901 to 1912. And the thing that I really found most interesting about this chapter was the focus on women within the progressive movement and how they really pushed a lot of issues to the forefront and took control in a lot of places. But just like in the progressive movement as a whole, they didn't try to throw down the old system and build up a completely new one. They tried to work from within the system and within the social order that already existed to create change. So in that period of time, there was this idea of separate spheres in which the women were focused mostly just around the home and in activities having to do with that, while men were bringing home the bacon, outside doing the actual work. So instead of women trying to be like, oh, we're stepping out of the home and we're going to do all these things, they were like, all these new activities, they're just an extension of our role in the home. And because of that, they really took big roles in protecting children's rights, in shortening work days, in food safety, things that if somebody asked them was like, women are overstepping their boundaries here, they need to stay within the home, they could step up and be like, no, we're not overstepping our boundaries. We're trying to take our home values and put them out into the rest of the world and use our maternity to protect everyone. So it was really cool how they didn't get overzealous in trying to attack the system that was in place that was persecuting them, and instead they worked within the system to really create change in a way that was way more effective than they ever could have been if they had tried to overrule it. But then also it was very unnerving at times the way they went about it, especially in the case of Muller v. Oregon, in which they were trying to defend the right for people to make laws protecting women and children in the workplace. But in this case, it seemed like they embraced their place in society almost too wholeheartedly. And what they ended up doing was their entire defense was based on the fact that women and children were too weak to be doing this, and that their bodies weren't strong enough, and we were going to hurt them, and all this stuff ended up making a lot of women lose jobs that they used to be able to get, and all these bad things. But it was like at that time, you can see how that was the only way for them to get the laws that they had spent so much time passing be able to stay there. And even though that's really sad and doesn't seem fair now, it's amazing how strategic and smart they were going about that. Also, it was interesting how the women didn't only recognize their role and work from it, but other pieces of society and other causes that were trying to really make something happen recognized how they could utilize women, even if it's not in the best way, how they could utilize this new extension of the maternal protectiveness into society. And especially like the anti-alcohol movement and the movement against saloons and stuff, they were very much for women's suffrage because they knew they could count on the maternal vote to protect the society from the ill effects of alcohol and all these things. So even though it seemed like they were just trying to take advantage of the assumed role that women would have because of this stereotypical thing, it helped further the women's suffrage movement, and it really ended up doing some really good things. So altogether, I just thought that was really amazing how women and other groups were able to recognize